Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. John F. Kennedy. Welcome to Progressive Voices of Arizona, a place where people can discuss the issues that affect people all over the nation and look for possible solutions to restore society's humanity. Kick off your shoes, grab yourself a snack and something to drink, and listen in with Scott and Kara, your hosts of Progressive Voices of Arizona.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Progressive Voices of Arizona. My name is Scott, and my wonderful, awesome, beautiful co-host.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Well, you know, I tried. Yeah, we're married and everything. I should at least be nice. So, welcome to Progressive Voices of Arizona. Another wonderful episode. We have some interesting things to talk about tonight. You can find us on Facebook, Progressive Voices of Arizona. Our website is www.provoicesaz.com. And you can find us on Twitter and Tumblr. One of these days we should put ourselves on Tinder just to see what it does.
Oh, and my name is Kara, by the way. I think we
well, you have to say your name.
glossed over that.
Well, you say your own name. I don't need to say your name. So, so tonight we're going to be, we have some special guests for the first third of the show and the third third of the show. And for those of you that listen during the middle of the show, then you just get to hear us rant and rave about a few things, like the new Trump Care Act.
Isn't that like an oxymoron?
Well,
Trump
pretty
care?
much, yeah. Satanic Temple put up a bulletin or a billboard in Texas, condemning the school for corporal punishment of students, and they got tore down within less than 24 hours. The new Trump billboard, which I just found out about, around Fillmore and Grand Avenue in Phoenix. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Can we egg it tomorrow on our way to work?
Well, no, I don't want to egg it. If it was supportive, then I'd egg it. But this is actually close to accurate. You'd have to actually see it.
Oh,
we'll talk
if it's
about
anti-Trump, then fuck yeah.
Yeah, so our first guest is with us tonight here, and I'm going to let Kara deal with this because she's the one that set it all up. I'm just going to sit here and get drunk while she takes the show this time.
All right, well, we have a very good friend, and his name is JP Martin. He's our digital health entrepreneur, and he's just a fucking awesome activist for Arizona, and I'm going to let him give you a little bit more details as to what all that means.
Welcome to the show, JP.
Thanks for calling in, JP.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Kara, for having me. Scott, if you want me to help you get drunk, every time I say something confusing or misleading, you have to take a shot, and you're going to be really drunk by the end of this interview.
Wow. A drinking game. All right. Now that's radio.
It's going to be as confusing as this Trump billboard that went up, because a lot of people don't know if it's a pro or con billboard, right? They could be taken...
It could be taken either way at this point, yeah. So for those of you, a little bit of backstory. We met JP back in 2014. He was working on the James Wood for Congress and CD5 campaign when we met him. And, you know, we like to keep in touch with people that really inspire and bring out the best. And so that's one of the reasons why we invited JP to the show, is because he does both those. So, JP, well, wait, you're supposed to be doing this. Why am I talking? Oh, my God.
Well, JP, I know that you've got a lot of projects that you have worked on or currently working on and plan to work on in the future. Is there one of them or any of them that you want to talk about as to why it's special to you or why you actually started the company that you've started? I mean, maybe that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, of course. Well, I actually have the latest recent update on that company. Unfortunately, due to a disagreement between me and my co-founder, I'm no longer going to be working on that project. And it talks about the propensity for startups to fail, right? And I think that learning from those mistakes is something that I've moved forward with. What was most painful, though, is that I pulled 2 small business innovation research grants from the National Science Foundation, and that would have been a total of $550,000, which with Trump's new budget, I know that we'll never see in the next 4 years. Unfortunately, there's been so much cut to NIH and all of the research-based funding that I hope that we can see a future where we can bring that back, because a few generations of research is going to be lost, and we're going to leave it all up to private industry now to be looking at the latest advances in medical technologies, and that's a little concerning.
Well, yeah, since we live in a country where healthcare is a profitable business, where they keep people, or they
keep you just sick enough to.
Well, I heard this phrase once before that was really, really accurate.
Oh.
It was keeping you, or what is it? Treating your illness, not curing your illness. And that's the kind of healthcare we have in America today. Well, it's going to get worse, really quick. So,
because we know that
am I talking? You're supposed to be doing this.
We do know that a lot of the people, or I'm going to actually go out on a limb based on no fucking fact here, and say that a lot of people that are in it for the profit lack critical thinking skills or lack empathy. So,
well, a lot of people these days lack empathy, and that's one of the problems we have in our country.
Well, because everybody's all me. And yeah, we all want to live that American dream, but we can't because the corporations are basically fucking taking all our money. Yeah. Well, they're not really taking it.
You guys remember that Pharma Bro?
What's that?
Martin Shkreli, do you remember him?
Sort of, kind of.
I think that was a great personification. Martin Shkreli?
Oh, yeah, he's the one that bought that company and then raised the prices on drugs like 500% the next day.
No, that wasn't the EpiPen person, was
no,
it?
No, that was a different one. This was
so many assholes.
Pharma Bro or something.
The
Pharma Bro guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
real asshole.
I think he's the epitome of what you're talking about, right? Like calling himself a philanthropist, but really fucking people over.
Yeah, pretty much. But then there is the lady that, or the company that, the EpiPen. For those of you who don't know, the EpiPen was created using taxpayer money by the government. Originally, I think for the military, for emergency allergy things on the battlefield, and it ended up being a really good thing. And then, of course, somebody bought the patent for it and raised the price like 5,000%. So what was at one time about $100 turned into $1,000 just to buy one dose. Yeah, let's kill people by raising the prices so they can't afford the medication that keeps them alive. That makes sense. Why am I talking? You're supposed to be talking. No,
really
JP's supposed to be talking. JP, why aren't you talking? It's supposed to be your thing here.
It seems like you have very strong opinions. Hey, I'm trying to. I said the theme for right now. It's really crazy. I was just in DC lobbying on a few issues regarding Medicaid and global health as well, because one of the biggest cuts to the 2018 budget is going to be through the State Department, and they do all of the tuberculosis and HIV and malaria funding. We give about a third of the global fund, which takes care of giving vaccinations to all of those and treatment to basically the world. Then there's also a special focus on tuberculosis right now because as it becomes drug resistant, treating it and controlling it becomes very difficult. I'm not sure if you guys remember the outbreak in Haiti.
Yeah.
But modern science is able to really treat in an efficient and effective way huge populations. Right now, we were able to through government funding, we're able to create a demand sufficient enough for the pentavalent vaccine, which went from $3.50 to 84 cents. And so that type of innovation is really spurred on by government, because there's no marketing, like there's no business interest in seeing healthy people, right? As you were talking about before. So you really need some sort of more neutral player to promote maternal child health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So,
the other part of that was like with the what was it in 2014 where they had the big Ebola scare.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things that we should be happy about our taxpayer dollars going to, and research and development into stuff like this is very important for the health of our country. And yeah, I've been kind of browsing a little bit about the new budget, if you want to call it that, that's come out, and it's just I look at all the cuts that they're making just so they can give more tax breaks, more military spending. We as a country really need to get off of the military spending thing and realize that we're not the world's police, and start taking care of our own people. I mean, infrastructure. Trump promised like $1 trillion to infrastructure, and you can see that they've destroyed that. But I mean, that's one of the problems we have in our country is we are so enslaved by the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry, and the health insurance industry, that if they ever actually do pass this Trump Care thing, people are going to die, and they're going to die from things that are very easily preventable because they can't afford it, and that's just, to me, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I take those issues to heart very seriously. As I sit on the board of Equality Arizona, I'm the lobbyist for the Arizona Human Rights Fund, and we talk about how pulling from the Medicaid expansion will limit access to people with HIV, people who are poor, and people who are transgender, and having even just access to medications, so you don't die. Right now, the way that the language is written, people are going to have to develop severe full-blown AIDS before they can get treatment after 2020, when 24 million people will be estimated to lose their insurance. And it just sounds like the perfect storm for outbreaks again, and it's really worrying because ever since it was Bush actually that signed legislation called PEPFAR that really enabled us to treat the disease in a way that would contain it, and that's really the model that we've spread out throughout the world. And now that we see a different emphasis, right, on military, there's a metaphor that says, if we imagine all of the world's countries as high school students, the United States is the one that's totally roided out, just ready to fight anyone. They could really focus on education a little bit more, right, on their studies a little more, but it's the military spending increase is very difficult to digest, as so many other programs are getting cut and will suffer, especially nutrition. Have you guys heard of the free lunches at schools, how they're going to get done away with Meals on Wheels as well?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a scary thing too.
It's all connected.
Back when I was in middle school, which would have been about 1857, my mom was trying to raise 3 kids by herself, and so we were on the reduced cost lunches, my brother, my sister, and I. And when you're trying, this was back in the 70s, mid to late 70s. When you're trying to provide for a family back then, and you had 3 kids that you just couldn't afford to. It was a benefit being able to eat breakfast and lunch at school, because at least it was something that was somewhat nutritious.